we're going to check in now with a briefing that is happening right now. Rochester Police Captain Greg Bello is addressing reporters on a situation on Joseph Avenue, a major investigation that's going on right now. Let's listen in.
Joseph and Vienna at Vienna Street, right in that area. Shortly into the traffic stop, the vehicle took off from the officer. It went down Vienna Street, turned around with the dead end and came back towards the officer. At that point, the officer did feel threatened, so he fired his duty weapon at the operator of the vehicle at least one time. The vehicle continued past the officer and left the scene. We've done some follow-up work as part of that. We've located the vehicle at another part of the city. We have not located the suspect that was in the vehicle at the time, so we're working towards not only locating but identifying the suspect that was involved in that vehicle. Our technicians are doing work both here at the scene on Vienna Street, where the shots were fired, and then also at the other location where the vehicle was recovered. So as we're working our way through it, I can say that we do have one officer that was involved in firing his weapon. There was a couple officers on scene at the time, but one officer did fire their weapon. No officers are injured. We're not aware of the suspect being injured, but again, we're still working to track him down and apprehend him, but we don't have any information leading towards the suspect being injured. So to just recap, we do have an officer that did fire their weapon at a vehicle that is believed to have driven towards the officer. That's preliminary of what we have at the time, that obviously the officer felt threatened with the vehicle coming at him, at which point he then fired his weapon, and what's believed to be self-defense at this point. And again, that's, we have to work through identifying the officer, but that's the preliminary information that we have. There's no injuries associated with it, and again, we're working to identify the operator of that vehicle, the suspect in this case.
So you mentioned that the officer felt threatened, so that we do know that the suspect, or can confirm that the suspect didn't have a weapon, it was just the car that...
So again, we haven't interviewed the officer yet. We've got preliminary information here, and so I don't want to put words in the officer's mouth, but the preliminary info I have is that the vehicle drove at the officer, causing the officer to feel threatened, at which point he discharged his weapon. But again, we're going to work our way through. That's very preliminary, but again, we'll work our way through the investigation. We have to work through not just the criminal side of this, of the vehicle driving at the officer. We got to work through our wellness side of this as well. That our officer was just put in this situation, and we have to ensure his welfare, right? Not just physical welfare, but also his mental well-being, right? Emotional well-being, et cetera, the wellness side of things as well. So we have a process that we work our way through, and we're going to continue to work through that process. And then, as we get more information, as we're able to put more information out, we will.
And as people are waking up, obviously these streets are blocked up. How long do you guys expect these streets
to be?
What streets are blocked up?
Yeah, so right now we've got Joseph Avenue shut off in this area, right around Vienna Street, within a couple blocks. We anticipate this can be shut off at least for a few more hours as our technicians work their way through things. So anybody that does live in this neighborhood, on the Vienna Street neighborhood, near the intersection of Joseph and Vienna, we request them to look through their Ring doorbells or surveillance cameras. Our investigators are out here going door to door, knocking on doors, but at the same time, proactively, if you have video, something associated with this incident, please reach out to us, either through majorcrimes@cityofrochester.gov, call 911 to speak to one of our supervisors, and we would love to collect that video and learn more about what occurred here.
In your experience, is this a reasonable scenario to feel threatened?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had too many scenarios lately where cars continue to drive at our officers. If you look back 2 nights ago, I think it was Sunday night, over in Genesee section area, right down southwest, we had a vehicle with teens. Our officers were out on a traffic stop. The vehicle drove at our officers and then struck a tow truck that was there. We were able to apprehend one of the teens, and I believe 16 or 17 years old, and they got an appearance ticket, because that's the way things work in New York State. Is you drive, 16-year-old drives a car at a police officer and they get an appearance ticket. But unfortunately, that's becoming more and more of a reality, and that's something our officers are facing. And thankfully, none of our officers have been injured as of late as part of that. But obviously, it's a scary situation when a car drives at you.
Thank you.
Do the officers round strike the car?
So I'm not going to get into details of what the rounds hit or haven't hit, and that's what we're still working our way through. So we located the vehicle in the other part of the city, and our technicians over there processing the vehicle. So I'm not in a position to say what evidence we have over there and not have, because our technicians are working their way through processing that vehicle. You good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Rochester Police Captain Greg Bello sum up an investigation that is going on right now on Joseph Avenue and Vienna Street. You heard him say it was a police involved, an officer involved shooting. A suspect drove at the officer. He fired at the driver. That driver was able to get away and drive off. This is a developing story. Of course, we will stay on top of this story. Brianna is live at the scene, and we will check in with her in just a few moments.
We also heard Captain Greg Bello confirm that there were no injuries reported.
Yes.
No one was injured. They have found what sounds like the suspect car, and they're working through that right now.
So we will continue to follow this story.